Good afternoon. It is December 3rd, 2023, and it's the first Sunday of the Advent season. A new liturgical year has begun for us. And in the readings today, in the Gospel especially, we hear Jesus reminding us to stay awake, be ready. You do not know the hour when the Master is coming. And I'd like to focus on two words in that. First word is Master. And the question is, do we understand what master means? As a kid growing up, one of the things we always talked about is, have you mastered that activity, whatever? Mathematics, have you mastered the piano? Have you, and we attach it to a learning. In the gospel, Jesus also refers to it as the master and the slave. And so the question is like, how do I understand master from the point of view of master and slave, but at the same time, that concept about learning, being able to grasp something, to be able to have a true handle on it. And now we go to the word awake. Because how often do we wake up? One of the things I find interesting is when we talk about awake, most people immediately go, well, I'm not sleeping, therefore I'm awake. But there's something deeper to that, because Jesus attaches it to be alert, be attentive. So how many of us know somebody who just basically goes through life sort of comatose? They're really, really not aware of what's going on around them. They just kind of sleep their way through life. They neither embrace anything, they neither get distressed over anything, they just kind of sleep their way through life. I know when I used to work in the business world and I was a manager, one of the things that we always wondered about is, are the staff awake? Are they really paying attention? And you'd watch them and it's like, there they are, they're, in retail, they're there, and there's customers, but they're not attentive to the customers. They're kind of daydreaming, caught up in something else, but not paying attention. And that's the point of this gospel, is be awake, be attentive, pay attention to what's going on around you. Do you see the needs of the world? Do you understand the needs of the world? And are you doing anything about it? That's where that part about excelling comes in. Do I excel at what I do? Like, oftentimes we look at hockey players. They master the art of hockey. Soccer players, they master the art of soccer. A pianist, a violinist, celloist. All these people master something. But do we master our discipleship? Are we masters of our discipleship? And that requires us to pay attention, to be alert for the needs around us. It's the Advent season. We're supposed to be getting ready to receive Christ at Christmas time. But in the midst of all of that, there are the needs of the world. As priests, when we get together, we usually have something to talk about. And right now, the big issue is volunteerism. How many of us don't have enough volunteers in our parishes? How many of us are finding that our volunteers are being turned away because, well, now we ask for things like a police check, or we ask them to sign a model code of conduct. And the whole challenge in that is, do I understand my responsibilities? Do I take this as seriously as I should be taking it in my volunteerism, in my discipleship? Am I completely aware of what's going on in the world? And oftentimes we're not. If you want to coach soccer or baseball or gymnastics or whatever, you need a police check to work with these children. So why am I off the hook just because I'm in the church? Because oftentimes we are working with children, we're working with vulnerable. Yes, it's a challenge to volunteerism. But if you talk to other associations, everybody seems to be having a problem with volunteerism. Nobody really wants to go outside of themselves. Nobody wants to put themselves out completely. We seem to be holding back. We seem to be afraid. Or we seem to have a different master, somebody else dictating to us. One of the things you might want to look at is, who is the master in your own house? Who sets the agenda? One of the easiest ones to pick on is sports, where oftentimes the hockey schedule dictates to the entire family, or the dance schedule dictates to the entire family, or. And so it's dictating the family life. And in many cases, I'm pretty sure it's not God. We keep looking around and wondering, where's everybody on Sunday? I was having a conversation with some young people, and one of the issues was going to church on Sunday. And if you don't go to church on Sunday, will that take you to hell? Well, yes and no. If my not going to church on Sunday is a deliberate rejection of God, well, then that's kind of problematic. Seriously problematic. If my not going to church on Sunday is due to ignorance and lack of understanding of what giving praise and worship to God means, or where does God fit in my life? Of all the hours in the day and all the hours in the week, we're asked to go to church for roughly an hour, to put God first in our life for an hour, to give praise and worship to God in that hour. And at the same time, we're asked to bring our intentions. Who are we praying for? Whose needs am I making this sacrifice? When I deal with the kids in high school, one of the things I point out to them is, on Sunday morning, nobody really wants to get up, and especially if you're a teenager who wants to go to church. Sacrifice. You make that sacrifice for God, you make it for whoever you're going to pray for. And in return, we get the Eucharist. We receive grace upon grace from God. We are fed. The question is for you and I, do I understand that? And is he truly the master of my life? Is God first or foremost? Or is God somewhere down the line? It is the Advent season. We're supposed to be focusing on Jesus. We're supposed to be focusing on the coming of Christ. More often than not, we're focused on presents, Christmas parties, more gifts, more Christmas parties. What are we doing for Christmas? What are we doing after Christmas? What is our planning? But are we planning to go to reconciliation this Advent? Are we planning to get ourselves washed clean of all of our sins to greet the Christ child? What are we planning? Who is the master of our life? It's the Advent season. Time to get ready. Stay awake. Be alert. May God watch over you and bless you during this Advent season as you stay awake, as you get ready, as you be alert. God bless.